Hey everybody, good morning. How are you? Hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful Monday out where I live. It's a great start to the week, so I hope that all of you are well and also off to a good start where you are in your part of the world. So here we are at another week, another stream, continuing my quest to try to stream 100 days in a row. We're going to go from here all the way through the end of October, which should take us through the start rather, of most of the school year for most people around the world. So really excited to be able to spend that time with you and to be able to just keep on talking about data science. You know, I got a really good message this morning in my messages on my Discord talking about how, you know, it feels like the lives are people, like-minded people sitting around and talking about data. So I really like the way that person put that. And I think it's true, you know, where we have a pretty good group of like-minded people that are passionate about data. And I think we get to talk about data science in a unique way. So I'm really grateful for that. And, you know, I think another thing that the message mentioned was about the overemphasis on code or algorithms or math and some of the other stuff. So I am happy to be bringing all of you, a different angle, a different take, a different, more realistic view of data science and how it's actually being practiced out there. So it's really nice to be able to spend this time with you and to be here with all of you and kind of create that camaraderie around data. Now, I'm running a little bit out of sorts this morning because I slept so good last night. I slept for a long time. I just woke up about an hour ago, which, believe it or not, is usually not enough time for me to get ready for these streams. I put a lot of effort into getting ready for these streams. So 1 hour is the bare minimum. I had to walk my dog, shower, shave, all that stuff, and start up all my screens and all that. So I made it. I feel like I made it just in time, even though I have been up for an hour. But I'm gonna try to march through this and make sure we all still have a good stream. So as you know, we always like to start with our global roll call. Let me know what city, state, province, country you're from. I love hearing where everybody's from. I love seeing this international nature of data science because I think that's an important part of data science, right? Realizing that there's a lot of projects, a lot of needs, a lot of ideas floating around out there, not just local to you, but really all over the world. So I think that's also an important part. So let me know where you're from. I'm seeing people on Instagram, but sometimes Instagram gets shy on me and people don't want to let me know where they're from. You know, feel free to participate. I do that to kind of have everybody be able to participate. So there's already a couple of people in the chat. I see at least 4 of my regulars. So good to see you guys. Thanks so much for being consistent supporters. So up first, of course, we have Rohan from Vizag, India. So Rohan, good to see you. Glad you're well. Joseph, good morning, Dennis. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Hope you're well out there in Tennessee. Patrick says, good morning, Dennis and all. Yes, good morning to everybody, not just to me, but to everybody. So thank you, Patrick. Hope you're doing well. Rex, hello everyone from NYC. Rex is one of our moderators on Twitch, doing a great job on there. Love to see the engagement on Twitch. Slowly growing on Twitch. Rajat Sinha. Ratnajit. Ratnajit, I don't think I've seen you in the chats before, so welcome if it's your first time. Glad you're here. Hi Dennis, good evening from the UK. Hope you're all right. I'm really liking your content. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. What part of the UK are you joining us from? Glad to see that you're here. Yeah, I think it is evening time in the UK. Whenever I need to talk to my clients or my friends in the UK, I do have to get up pretty early because my 4 a.m. is like their noon time over there. So it's not always easy to stay in touch with the UK. But glad to see that you're here. Hope you're having a good evening out there. Again, if you're joining us on Instagram, feel free to introduce yourself. It's our time for the global roll call where we let each other know the city, state, province, country that we're from. Shaquille Salma Nomad? Or Shaquille Salma Nomad? Shaquille Salma says, hello, I am from India. Well, welcome, Shaquille. Glad you're here. I don't think I've seen you before, so if it's your first time, welcome. Patrick says, Tennessee You know, it is ironic, right? I talk about how global and wonderfully diverse the community is in data science, and both of my YouTube and Discord moderators are actually from the same state here in the US, in the same region of the state. I don't think they live in the same city, but they're both from East Tennessee. So it's ironic that I talk about, you know, this wonderful global community, and they're both from East Tennessee. So yes, I don't know what's in the water in Tennessee, but apparently Tennessee is churning out some data scientists. So I'm glad to have you guys here. So Ratnajit says they are from Colchester, Essex. Okay. I'm not always great with my UK geography, but Essex is like a seaside town, right? Or a seaside region, isn't it? I think it's a coastal region. I meant to say coastal region. Who says seaside region anymore? I think it's coastal. Let us know about that, Ratnaja. But glad to have you here. If you're comfortable sharing about what part of data science you're in, you know, if you're a student, if you're an enthusiast, or if you're a professional in the field, you know, please let me know. Samir, haven't seen you in a while. Samir, our man in Nepal, how are you? Checking in from Lalitpur, Nepal. How are you doing, Dennis? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Like I said, I slept really well last night. You know, just feeling really good this morning. I'm going out later tonight. I'm going to go see a friend for dinner. He's a friend who works in data. He's a vice president at a very large finance company here in the US. So looking forward to having dinner with him and asking him some questions. And he told me he has some questions for me as far as data science and all that. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a good long day ahead. But thank you for asking. Lalitpur, Nepal. Now, I am not going to even pretend that I know my Nepalese geography. So if you want to tell us what part of Nepal that's in, I'd like to know that, Samir. I'm curious. Shaquille says, I am a data analytics enthusiast. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Data analytics is still a huge field. You know, guys, don't sleep on analytics. You know, a lot of people tend to say, "Oh, analytics, that's beginner data science. That's for the visualization guys. You know, that's for the guys who can't code." Don't sleep on analytics. You'd be surprised how much you can solve with analytics, especially when it comes to like I don't want to say like the day-to-day questions, but more of like the questions that you're going to be asked often in business. A lot of those solutions, a lot of those answers lie in analytic solutions. So definitely don't sleep on analytics. And also the other thing that people don't talk about enough is how specialized some analytics can be. You know, there could be finance analytics, there could be marketing analytics, there could be human resources analytics, there could be audit analytics. As a matter of fact, on August 29th, is that right? No, August 22nd. Thursday, August 22nd, I'm bringing in another special speaker. My friend Lynn is going to join us. I just had my pre-interview with her last week. She's really excited to come and meet all of you. She is an HR analytics specialist. So when it comes to HR analytics, she's the most talented person I know. So she's going to come in. She was a director at that level. August 22nd. So if you want to mark that on your calendars, that's going to be a great stream. This Thursday, I have my friend Laura Sell coming in, and she's a wealth management executive. So we're going to have a little bit of wealth management, a little bit of HR analytics in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be really, really good streams. I'm not bringing anybody that's less than a director to you guys. I only know directors and managing directors. So we're going to be bringing them in. Really, really looking forward to those streams. So this Thursday, it's going to be wealth management, analytics, and the following Thursday, it's going to be HR analytics. My friend Laura Sell, my friend Lynn, they're coming in. It's going to be great. Diego Hinasgan? I think I'll just call you Diego in case I mess up your last name. Hi from Peru. Well, Diego, welcome. Glad you're here. I think it's your first time, but thank you for checking in on Instagram. Glad to see that you are doing well. Yeah, so Diego, if you want to let us know what part of Peru or, you know, what part of data science you study or you're a professional in the field, whatever you'd like. Oh, wow. Ratnajit says, and your last suggestion has brought me a positive change. You said something like, try to be a good scientist rather than just being job oriented. Thank you so much. Wow, thanks so much. I appreciate that. That's quite a compliment. Uh, your message is making me feel good because this makes me feel like I have an impact on the greater world of data science. So, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah. So, in case you're you're new or you don't quite remember what Ratnajit is referring here, is you guys know that I put an emphasis that on this channel in my content, I do not I don't want to train people to pass interviews. I want to train people to be data scientists, right? Your goal is not to impress recruiters. Your goal is to be a professional in the field, right? And if you can focus on being a professional, on doing the work of a data scientist, putting in the hours, gaining the mastery, the abilities of the field, then the interviews are just a formality, right? You're going to be just fine in that recruiting process if you're a professional in the field, right? So do the work, stay positive, take a scientific approach to the work you're doing, take a real world approach to the work you're doing, because some stuff out there, some of the boot camps, some of the influencer stuff maybe isn't so great. But keep doing that and good things will come, right? We're not passing interviews here. We're becoming professionals in the field. That's really the goal. And again, I'm sharing that because that served me well. I often share about the times when I was putting in the work in, and I know that because of that, the subsequent steps became easier. So Ratnaja, thank you so much for saying that. That message makes me feel good. I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, that's the type of impact that I'm trying to have here in the industry because, at my stage in my career, I'm an old man, right? So at my stage, I'm trying to make sure that data science is going to be healthy for the next generation for years to come, right? So that's why I'm trying to have that impact. Because I want data science to keep on thriving. That's my duty right now to the industry. So Ratnajit says, I am just about to complete my master's in data science. Oh, well, congratulations. So I think in the UK, they follow a similar school year to the US. So are you going into your last year of that, your last semester of that? Let us know how far along you are. Okay, so Samir says that Lalitpur, Nepal is a valley joined together with the capital city of Kathmandu in Nepal. Okay, very cool. Very cool. You know what? We did this recently with Morocco. If you guys joined us over the weekend, we did a fun little poll for Morocco. Let's do the same thing for Nepal because I have a question in my mind. I honestly don't know the answer. I might participate myself. So Samir, obviously don't answer. Samir, you're going to be our judge here. Okay? But nobody can look this up. Don't use ChatGPT. But what is the population of Nepal? I honestly don't know the answer to that. I used Morocco as an example because most people don't realize how populous Morocco is, right? Let's do Nepal. So Samir, don't answer. You're going to be our judge. I honestly don't know the answer, so I'm going to participate. But in the chat, if you want to participate, Instagram, YouTube, don't look it up. No cheating. What is the population of Nepal? I honestly do not know what the answer is. So I'm going to think about it. And all right, it looks like I need a moderator on Kick. If anybody wants to volunteer to be a moderator on Kick, let me know. But let me see if I can delete that. Hold on a second, guys. Delete message. There we go. Oh, come on. Guy, you can't spam my chat and then volunteer to be a moderator. Come on. All right, guys. So the question for the chat is, what is the population of Nepal? Samir, you're going to be our judge. I'll let you know when to release it, but nobody can cheat, okay? Oh, Landry's admitting that he Landry is admitting that he has an unfair advantage. Okay, Landry. So we're noting your entry there. Let me go back to the introductions. Michael says, hello, sir, Dennis and everyone. Michael, good to see you. Michael, did you attend our class yesterday? I think you were there yesterday, right? So shout out to everybody who attended the class yesterday and is still back here on Monday. You guys are warriors. That's amazing. So for those of you who don't know, we're doing a class on Sundays, Introduction to Statistical Learning. We're going through the whole book. We went through chapter 6 yesterday. I think we had great discussions yesterday. We went for almost 3 hours. We went like 2:45 yesterday. And some of you, a lot of you were there for the entire time, which is amazing because I know how tired I feel at the end of it. So you guys are amazing. And you're back here on Monday. So Michael, good to see you. I hope you enjoyed the class yesterday. Shaquille, you're being very honest. I am afraid of data science algorithms, so I slept on analytics. Okay. So maybe you chose analytics instead of data science. I think that's what you're implying there. Shaquille, what about data science algorithms intimidate you, or what makes you afraid of them? I'm curious. If you're comfortable sharing that, let me know. Let the chat know. But I'm curious. Rex, I'm going to come back to your question. You're asking a good question. Are there industries found to be more receptive than others to data science processes and results? I'm going to come back to that, Rex. It's a good question. Sarabja asks, is it going to be like a podcast on 22? So when I bring in the special guests, it is interview style, but the intent is that I interview them for the first few minutes so that it'll generate questions in the chat, and also just to give people in the chat to come in. But overall, I do invite the chat to be those questions. So you can listen to it like a podcast. It will have that style, but it's going to be a live stream. It's going to be a live stream just like our live stream today. It's just that I bring in a guest. She's based in London, so I'll be patching her into the software from London. But it's really more of an interview, and it's really more of an opportunity for all of you to ask questions. I mean, how many times are you in your life are you gonna have at least while you're recruiting, while you're younger, how many times during that period of your life are you gonna be able to ask questions of a managing director or of a director? That's not an opportunity that happens very often. I'd like to think that I'm the only data science influencer that's bringing you that. Because I don't think anybody else out there is doing that. These people are my friends, my colleagues. I'm calling in old favors and getting people to come on to the stream. So it's a unique opportunity. So I don't want to just sit there and interview them. I want you guys to be able to benefit from that and ask questions too, right? So that's kind of more the intent than strictly like a podcast. So Diego says, my last name is Hinostroza, and I see what you did there. My second last name is Gonzalez. Okay. I'm currently working as a data analyst, checking some quality questionnaires for a regional travel agency. I'm from Lima. Okay, very cool. Lima being the capital of Peru. All right, very cool. Thanks for the explanation, Diego. Hope you're doing well there in your data analyst role. So thanks for being here. Surab Sapali says, yes, sir. Surab, did you tell us where you're from? And remember, guys, the question is the current question for the chat is, what is the population of Nepal? I don't know it. I'm looking at some of the answers. I might agree with some of the answers, but we're trying to figure out what is the population of Nepal, and Samir, our man in Nepal, will give us the answer. Maddie Jason says, hi, where are you from? Maddie, are you the same one that spammed my chat? I can't remember now the name of who spammed my chat now. But I'm going to skip the kick messages for now. Kick people are being weird this morning. Abhilash says, I have been studying data science since 2020, and I am not comfortable with the switch to data science field. I feel I am stuck. I am working as a data engineer. How do I keep in touch with all new things? Okay. Give me more information on that if you don't mind. 2020 was a long time ago, right? So was there a reason why you stopped? Was there a part of it that maybe was too difficult or you were intimidated by? Because 2020 to 2024 is a good amount of time to have made the move to data science. That's achievable, right? So let me know. Okay, so we have some answers coming in to our question. Remember, our current question... Okay, Deadlord. Deadlord's being funny. I'm going to get to Deadlord's answer. But the current question in the chat is, what is the population of Nepal? Michael has our first answer at 50 million. Okay, 50 million. Patrick is guessing 5 million. Rahul is guessing 5 to 10 crore. Sorry, Rahul. Well, Rahul, good to see you. I know you were in our class yesterday. It's good to see you back. I'm sorry, what is a crore? Is that 100,000 or a million? I can't remember. If you could write that out in million or 100,000, let me know, Rahul. And I hope you're not saying 5 to 10 million. You can't give a range, guys. Give me a number. You got to give one number, okay? Kyle Keegan, Kyle, good to see you. I think you've been here before. It's good to see you back. Kyle is guessing 15 million. I'm liking that guess. So Landry admits that he has insider information because his housemate is from Nepal, and he's guessing 30 million. So you could just agree with Landry if you think Landry's, on the right track. I don't know. Deadlord says 9 people. all right, Deadlord. I don't know if that's gonna be a good guess, but he guesses 9 people. Okay. Anybody else? Prince Exclusive. Remember, guys, we're not cheating, okay? So Prince Exclusive says 45.5 million. That's a very specific guess. I like the boldness in going to the tenth to the decimal. Joseph says 3 million. Yeah, okay. Rohan says crore is 10 million. Okay. But then that would mean he's guessing 50 million to 100 million? Because he said 5 to 10 crore, right? I don't know. Ashtush says should be somewhere around 30 to 35 million considering the same population density of South Asian states. Okay, all right. Ashtush is coming in with rationale. I like it. He's not just putting a guess out there. He's giving us his rationale. He's thinking that they're just as dense as most Southeast Asian nations. All right. But Ashtush, that would imply that you also know the landmass of Nepal. Because see, that's what's throwing me off. From everything I know, Nepal is a relatively small country, right? So 30 million in that landmass, I think, is a little optimistic, but we'll see. Rohan is putting in his guess at 25 million. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Last call for guess. I'm gonna go a little bit on the lower side. I'm trying to see. Kyle guessed 15 million. Somebody else guessed. Joseph guessed 3 million. I'm kind of somewhere between 3 and 15. Right, you know what? I'm gonna go 8 million. Everything I know about Nepal says it's a very small country, like just landmass wise, right? And it's also a very hilly country, so I can't imagine they have like these super populous cities, right? So I'm gonna go with 8 million. All right, 8 million is my guess. Last call for guess, and then we'll have Samir tell us the answer. Viru says hi, Dennis. Hello, Viru. Nice to see you. Let us know where you're from, Viru. Manoj says 20 million. Okay, 20 million. That's a good guess, Manoj. Yogaraj Corey. Yogaraj, I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let us know where you're from, Yogaraj. Yogaraj gets 10 million. I can get on board with 10 million. I'm somewhere between 8 and 10 million, but I said no ranges, so I can't break my own rule. I'm going with 8 million. Small country, scarcely populated, but very dense where people choose to live. Ashtush, guys, let's take a quick pause here. I'm loving the fact that Ashtush is also providing rationale for his answers. Oh, don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. Samir, don't say it yet. Nobody look at Samir's answer. We're still guessing. Ashtush, I like the fact that you're giving rationale. So good for you, my friend. A good scientist can always provide rationale. And in turn, all of us as scientists can accept the rationale and say, Ashtush, I think you're wrong, but it's good rationale, right? He's using a good process to get to the answer. So here's the challenge, Ashtush. How many densely populated cities in Nepal can you name? I think if you ask most people on the planet, they can maybe name one, and that's it, right? I agree with you that the population centers in Nepal are probably very concentrated, but how many of those centers are there across the country? What was your answer was what, 30 million, right? 30, 35 million? I mean, are there at least 3 densely populated cities in Nepal? Because I'm guessing 10 million per city, which is a very, very dense area, right? I don't know. I don't know if I'm on board with that. I don't know if my personal rationale lets me get to that number. All right, last call for guesses. Osberto is guessing at 10 million. Osberto, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome to the chat. Welcome to our community. Okay, so we got a couple of guesses at 10 million. A couple of people are going high with 25 to 30 million. I don't think anybody guessed more than 35 million, right? I think 35. Oh, no, Michael. Michael guessed 50 million. Michael is, that's optimistic, my friend. I'm going to say it's optimistic, but maybe you know something we don't, right? Maybe your rationale is different. All right, I'm not seeing any more answers or any more guesses, right? So Samir says, love this poll, Dennis. The actual population seems to be 30 million according to 2016 data, but the major factor is that more than half of the population is outside of the nation because of severe unemployment. Ah, okay. Well, see, Samir, we're talking about people that actually live in Nepal, not people of Nepalese descent across the world, because that's a whole other question, right? Right? The people of descent of a particular nation across the world is different than asking the population of Nepal, right? So, Samir, can you get us the population of people who actually live in Nepal? Let us know what that is. Okay, whoa, Ashtush, back up there. You haven't won yet. Samir is saying that, he's counting everybody that is of Nepalese descent, which is not the same answer. So, Samir, can you get us that question of how many people actually live in Nepal? So it could also be people of non-Nepalese descent that live in Nepal, right? I mean, there's foreigners that live in Nepal, just like in every country around the world. All right. Ashtush says sorry to you. So yes, let's put the champagne away. Let's put the celebration away. Let's put that on pause. We don't know what the answer is yet. So we're gonna wait for Samir to give us that answer, because we don't need to use ChatGPT. We have each other, right? Why would we use ChatGPT when we've got this great community letting us know these answers, right? But I hope it's not anywhere near 30 million, because that means my answer was terrible, right? Because I'm going 8 million. I'm going single digits million, right? So, yeah, Samir, let us know the answer of people who actually live in Nepal, okay? Let me make sure. I think I missed a couple of questions while we're doing this. So while we wait for Samir's answer, I'm going to go for some questions. Ratnajit shares with us, yes, Dennis, it's the last semester of my master's, working on my dissertation and research work on behavioral science. Oh, very cool. Behavioral science is a huge field. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing what further work you develop there. But thanks for sharing that, Ratnajit. And congrats on making it to your last semester, and that's not easy. Ashta says, nice to see you. I'm curious about your classes, but couldn't find any link to join. Is it your YouTube channel? Yes, Ashtush, please go to my YouTube channel, Data Science with Dennis. I keep all my live streams up there, including the classes. We just finished class number 4, so you're going to find all those archives up there. I mean, right now, geez, it's got to be like almost 10 hours of classes that are in there, because 4 sessions is about 10 hours, roughly. So it's going to take you a little while to catch up there. But otherwise, you're welcome to join us Sundays, 1500 GMT. We're doing a new chapter every Sunday. We have 4 more Sundays to go, which is incredible to say, because we started with 8 to go. So yeah, we're moving along. It's going great. Shaquille had earlier talked about how there's a difference between data science and analytics, and maybe people feel a little bit more comfortable with analytics. So he says, I am afraid applying DS algorithms to a problem. Okay, I can see that. Shaquille, you're describing a problem that I actually ran into earlier in my career, and not from my side, but from the business side. So when I first started, this was a while back, so algorithms weren't nearly as popular as they are now. Data science was not as popular as it is now. I would run into situations where you would work for a client, you would develop an algorithm, you would show them the results, you're ready to go, and then they can't do it. They can't deploy it, right? And the reason was because you're basically saying, hey, you know that process that you've been doing for the last 30 years that grew your business and that brought you all this success? Well, we're going to change that. We're going to turn it into a math formula, and then we're going to let that math formula run your business. That's a scary thing for most businesses, right? It was definitely a scary thing now. I've seen the landscape change a little bit, but it's still scary now for a lot of businesses. It can sometimes be a tough sell to say, well, we're going to forget everything we've been doing for the last 30 years to build up our business, and we're going to go with these guys instead. We're going to go with this algorithm instead. That's tough, right? So I can see how you, on the other side of that, the data scientist side, is feeling that, right? But I'll tell you something. Here's the key. It gets easier with time. The more you do it, the more you put your work out there, the easier it gets. Because Shaquille, another way I've heard this, and I think this might apply to some of the other people in chat. You don't have to identify yourselves, but maybe this speaks to you. I've heard this where people will privately message me and they will say, Dennis, I hear you about publishing my work and doing the work of a data scientist and all, but I'm afraid to put my work out there. What if I've made a mistake? What if people will think that my model is stupid? What if my article sounds dumb, right? So I hear this from you guys. I get it. But this is one of those things where it just gets easier with time and there's no substitute for actually doing it, right? So Shaquille, I think you're expressing something that's very normal, right? I think a lot of people go through that. And it is scary, right? Because you write this code that came out of your mind and you're like, oh my God, this better work. What the hell am I doing, right? But it gets easier with time. So you got to do it and you got to be consistent about it. So one of the ways that I did this, and I've talked about this, about how I used to have a blog where I would publish out all of my work. And the commitment I made to myself was to publish an article every week. I think I published every Wednesday. So I made a commitment that every Wednesday, no matter what, I had to have an article out there. Good or bad, right? Good or bad, whatever. Whether the topic was interesting or not, whether the results really only mattered to me and nobody else read it or whatever, that's okay. But you got to get your work out there. Get it out there on a schedule. And that will make that process easier, right? Because look, even if you publish it, doesn't mean people are instantly going to read it, right? In social dynamics, there's this concept known as spotlighting, where how sometimes when you're walking around and you go to lunch and maybe you spill some ketchup on your shirt, right? And then and you wipe it off, but the ketchup is still there. And when you walk around the rest of the day, you think that everybody is staring at the ketchup, right? So that's a phenomenon called spotlighting. You think that you're under a constant spotlight. So now walking around, everybody's pointing at the guy with the ketchup on his shirt. But the reality is nobody cares, right? They just don't know any better. They're not observant or whatnot. So I can see how somebody would feel like that when they're first publishing. But the reality is that, most people aren't really going to read most of your early published work, right? On the internet, it's hard to make your content stand out and all that. Everybody has a blog, so on and so forth. But the practice of doing it, right? Even though nobody's going to read it, even though you're under a lot less pressure than you think you are, it's still healthy for you mentally to be able to say, hey, I put this article out there. And then on the second one, not only is it going to get easier, but you're also going to improve on that because you're going to say, well, wait a minute, that first article, I didn't like the way I explained that. Maybe I can explain it better in the second article, and then the third article, and the fourth article, and so on, right? It will get easier. I promise you that it will get easier, right? But you're only going to get there by actually doing it. You're not going to get there by just thinking about it, right? You got to kind of overcome that hump to be able to say, well, I did my best on this. I wrote the best code I could. I double checked it. I'm going to publish it. And whether good things come back or bad things come back, I still did it, right? I still published it. And I promise you it'll get easier. It'll get easier as you go. Okay? So I hope that helps you. Kyle shares, hi, living in Ireland but originally from South Africa. My degree is in mechatronic engineering, but I'm doing a data science course in my free time, hoping to get a job in data when I finish college. Okay, very cool, Kyle, welcome. Lots of people from South Africa and the UK. I have some friends that all are also from South Africa living in London and whatnot. So yeah, welcome, Kyle. Good to hear from you. All right, gonna keep on going down some of these questions. And guys, please don't spam the chat. If I see if your question's on the screen, I will do my best to get to it. Hi, I am a data analyst with 4 years of experience and have basic knowledge of regression and classification. Cool. Do you think I can get a job as a data analyst? Also, let me know any projects. Okay, Yogaraj. So, first of all, we don't give project ideas on my channel, because that is a fantastic opportunity for you to be creative in data science. So I don't want to deny you that opportunity to be creative. So as you gain more skills, you'll be able to come up with your own project ideas. And I think that's a really valuable part of the process. So data analyst with 4 years of experience, basic regression and classification. Do you think I can get a job as a data analyst? But you say that you're a data analyst already. Did you mean to write something else? Let me know, Yogaraj. Let me know further down in the chat. You say you have you're working as a data analyst, and then you want a job as a data analyst. Let me know. Something's not clear there. Maybe you meant to say data scientist? Good evening, Dennis and all there. Tamrat from Ethiopia. Tamrat, so good to see you. Tamrat, I think there's a Tamrat that also follows me on Twitter. Is that you, Tamrat? I believe I think there is a Tamrat on Twitter. Are you the same Tamrat that follows me on X? Let me know, because I like some of the postings you made yesterday. Let me know. Okay, Samir, our man in Nepal is trying to give us an answer. I can't give the exact number as there is no reliable data collected. I would say that there have been no records of accurate census. Probably my guess would be 17 million. Okay. Samir, how comfortable do you feel in that? Or do you want us to use ChatGPT? Don't make me go to ChatGPT, Samir. I need a solid answer here. Let us know the rationale for your guess, right? Because earlier we talked about, a good scientist gives rationale, right? So Samir, let me know your rationale there. Let me know, okay? Getting some spam on Kick. So let me get rid of that. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you're a regular on my streams and you'd like to be a moderator on Kick, I am definitely looking for one. It seems like I'm slowly getting some people on Kick, but it's kind of spammy. I have a couple followers on there, but the messages so far have been a little spammy. So if anybody's interested in being a moderator for me on Kick, volunteering to be a moderator, just let me know. Make sure. Stippus says, howdy folks. Hi Stippus, good to see you. I know you're a big supporter, so glad to see that you're back. Hope that you're doing well. Remind me where you joined us from, Stippus. Yogaraj says, sorry, as a data scientist. Okay, so you're working as a data analyst, you want to work as a data scientist. Also, does posting my projects in Kaggle beneficial? Because there I have around 30 personal projects. Okay, so let's take that as two separate questions. So Yogaraj says he has experience working as a data analyst for 4 years, knows some regression and classification, and wants to move into data science. Yogaraj, I think the answer is it depends. It depends on the type of companies and industries that you're looking at. I think that for your type, for what you're telling me, right? And obviously I'd have to know more from your resume, but from what you're telling me, you're probably at a junior data scientist level and maybe not quite ready for that. Regression and classifications are great starts. Those are very good starts. But you'd probably need to know significantly more than that to go into an actual data scientist role. Like I don't want to put this in a negative light, but regression and classification is basically like, for most people, the first classes in a dedicated data science study program, right? As an example, in the classes that I'm running on Sundays, right, we covered regression as and classification in the same class in one Sunday, in one 2-hour Sunday class, right? And as I told people who take this, I'm doing this, and this book and all that is not intended to make you prepared for a job. It gives you a good foundation to go on to your studies and then explore jobs later, right? So if you know one class of that bigger study, then you probably still have a little bit of a ways to go to be ready to apply, or to be ready to be formally seeking a data science job, right? So I would tell you that you're probably not quite there yet. So I would encourage you to keep on continuing your studies and keep on building towards that, right? Okay, so you mentioned Kaggle, right? Kaggle can be good, but it can also have its downsides, right? The challenge to something like Kaggle is that you're still not simulating the real world of data science. You're still given the problem statement. You're still given the data set. You're still generally guided in what are the relevant fields and things to use, right? Or in some cases, I think in some cases, Kaggle even tells you what type of model to use, right? Like it might be like a neural network contest, right? So that kind of narrows it for you. The real world's not like that. The real world doesn't tell you, oh, and by the way, this is a neural network problem and here's some nice clean data for you to use, right? So those are the challenges with what you're talking about, that it just doesn't simulate enough of what you're going to need, right? So I'm going to stop there because I hate to sound discouraging to anyone, but you probably just need to be a little bit further advanced in your studies before you would be comfortable, actively pursuing data science roles, okay? Let me jump ahead. Samir says, the problem is there has been no data collected, so my answer would be, I don't know. I'm sure any Gen I also wouldn't be able to answer. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, ChatGPT has an answer for everything, right? Or even what does Wikipedia say, right? I mean, this isn't even a ChatGPT question. This is a Wikipedia question. So if somebody wants to feel ambitious and go out, somebody give me the Wikipedia answer and the ChatGPT answer, right? I mean, that should be like a 2-minute exercise. I'm curious, Samir. Now we have to know the population. We are on a quest to get a final number for population in Nepal. Stippus says, I'm from Louisiana. Okay, great, Stippus. I forgot about that. I don't know why I forgot that. But it's always good to see people from Louisiana and from that part of the world. I'm not sure if I get many followers from that part of the world. Deadlord says, Dennis, in my case, my forte is not statistics. That's why I chose to be a data engineer, as I enjoy database and large-scale data management. All right, cool. If that's what your heart's telling you, if that's where your passion lies, go for it. I can see the appeal. For a while, I was considering doing like more DBA dedicated work because I was really liking SQL Server and where SQL Server was going. So I get it. I understand the appeal. So yeah, good for you on the data engineering side. Now, Deadlord, I know that you're also joining our Sunday classes. I'm pretty sure you were there yesterday. So I hope that as a data engineer, you're also getting benefit out of that. Maybe to develop your own personal projects or whatnot. Or maybe you can start to see how the statistics side of it, the intimidating side of it, becomes less relevant as you talk about projects in the real world. Because as you know, I'm presenting how things are actually done and what parts of these books we actually use on a day-to-day basis. Because just because it's in the book doesn't mean you're actually using it, right? So I'm curating the chapters to that degree. So Deadlord, maybe this is helping you in some way to kind of take that intimidation out of it. So let me know if that's the case for you. Let me know further down in the chat, but maybe that's going to help you in some way. Okay, so to wrap up our Nepal questions, Joseph says 30 million on ChatGPT. Patrick says 30 million on Wikipedia too. Okay, so maybe the 30 million given to us by Samir initially was not so far off. Okay, it looks like 17 million might not be in the right range, but we'll go with 30 million. So who guessed 30 million? I think a couple people were in that range, right? Lanry. Lanry, who just happens to have a housemate from Nepal, set guess 30 million. Anybody else? I think we had one guess at 25 million. Rohan guessed 25 million, so that's not a bad guess, Rohan. And everybody else basically did not give a good answer. Okay, so Rohan and Lanry are our winners today. But yeah, I would not have guessed 30 million. That is a lot of people. That is a lot of people for what I perceive to be a relatively small country in landmass. But 30 million is a lot of people. But thanks for the assist there, Samir. It makes for a fun little quiz question to ask about these countries. Because some of these I know, some of these I don't, so I'm curious. So Tamarat says, yes, they were the same person that was messaging me yesterday on Twitter. So I enjoyed Tamarat's messages because Tamarat included his copy of Mastery by Robert Greene in one of the pictures. And that is a book, that if you know my content, you know that I'm a big advocate for the book. I'm a big advocate of following your mastery, following your passion. So I appreciate that Tamarat also has that book, and he was showing that he had read it. If you guys aren't familiar with that book, please go out and get it. It's a very powerful book, had a big impact on my life. It just really talks about a lot of interesting things, a lot of fascinating things. And in fact, one of those things came up during our live streams just last week. Joseph, I think you will remember this, where we talked about mentorships. And a lot of people, not just in data science, but in new careers or in life in general, they're always kind of stuck on, oh, well, I got to get a mentor. I need a mentor for this. I can't go any further without a mentor, this and that. And I'm going to recommend that you read Mastery by Robert Greene because he talks about mentorships in there. In fact, I think it's a very powerful section that he has in there about mentorships. And I don't want to bias you. I'm not going to tell you anything more. No spoiler alerts here. But it changed my view on mentorships. I completely changed my view on mentorships after I read that book. So I know some of you are in the process of reading it, or you haven't gotten to that section yet. But again, Mastery by Robert Greene. It'll help you find your mastery. Maybe it's data science, maybe it's not. But I think it's a book everyone should read, and maybe it'll change your mind on mentorships too, right? Maybe it'll kind of give you a different view. It certainly did that for me. Samir says, the problem here is that data hasn't been collected because officials are really lousy. It's based on inaccurate data. Yeah, I get it. Different countries run different governments in different ways. I can appreciate that. But 30 million people, you got to be able to have a census with that many people. 30 million people is a lot of people, right? So your points are appreciated, Samir. I get what you're saying. And hey, maybe that's an opportunity for you, right? Maybe analytics should be a growing field in Nepal. Who knows, right? But it just seems like there should be a more accurate number. Because I think you cited a number from 2016, I think is what you said. That's a long time ago, right? All right, so Deadlord says, yes, that's why I come to Sunday classes. I really like to study it, even if I'm not the best. Hey, I love that attitude. Guys, Deadlord here is presenting a really good attitude. I may not be the best at it. I may not, fully understand everything. But I'm going to keep on trying, and I'm going to pick up the things that I can pick up, right? The things that I can study, I will go ahead and pick up, right? I think that's a really positive attitude. I think all of us should have that, right? Because I get it, the math and data science can be intimidating. Publishing your work can be intimidating. I get it. I totally see where that's rooted, right? It's not easy to put yourself out there. It's not easy to overcome some of the math challenges or coding challenges that people might have, right? But you got to keep on trying, right? You got to keep on taking small bites, right? You got to keep on taking small bites, and slowly you start to understand a couple things, and oh, okay, because I understood this yesterday, maybe I can understand this today, and oh, okay, that makes sense. Or sometimes you got to, take a topic, read it, you got to walk away, go do something else, go have dinner, go do something fun, and then come back to it, right? And then come back and say like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes more sense now, right? So we all learn in different ways, right? We all learn in different ways. But the point is, you got to keep on trying to learn, right? You got to keep on going for it, right? So I love the attitude, Deadlord. Keep going forward. Keep coming back to the Sunday classes. We're having a really good time there. I'm really happy with the pace that we're keeping up. We're having a lot of interaction back and forth as far as participation, which I really enjoy. So yeah, just keep on coming back, Deadlord. So, you know, props to you for at least trying, you know? And you're still working in the field, right? You're still working in the data field, which is still very valuable. So good for you. All right, guys. So I think this makes for a natural stopping point in this stream. Really appreciate all the camaraderie today, all the fellowship. We finally got an answer on the population in Nepal, even though it might be a little bit of a dated answer according to some of the sources out there. But really appreciate everyone. I hope you're off to a good week. You know, it's Monday, it's the start of the week. Let's all make it a good week. Thursday, 1500 GMT, my friend Laura Sell is going to be here. Wealth management executive. She's a director in wealth management. When's the last time you got to ask questions of a director in wealth management? So super fascinating discussion up ahead. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, 1500 GMT. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you next time.